Getting impatient, Huang Fam yells at him to stop talking trash, promising he will not use any powers. He immediately gets into stance, ready to square off. Wing Chun Lam Thu says, "Show me what you have got." Huang Fam charges in first with a dark, furious expression, throwing a massive fist and telling him to stop acting. Lam Thu easily slips the first punch by tilting his body, but Huang Fam quickly fires off a second shot. This time there is a clear opening, and Lam Thu instantly spots his golden chance to strike. In the blink of an eye, he locks onto Huang Fam's incoming wrist and grabs it tight. With a swift sweep of his other hand, Lam Thu slams him hard to the floor, leaving him completely stunned. This technique and insane striking power. Just as he realizes he is done for, a palm strikes him hard through the air, sending him crying out in absolute pain. Lam Thu grabs his collar and yanks him right back up, leaving him totally pale and completely drenched in cold sweat. Snapping back to reality, the guy finds himself kneeling on the floor. Lam Thu gently rests a hand on his back, clearly not intending to deal any real damage. Standing relaxed with one hand in his pocket, he casually asks why he is screaming so loud. Up in the stands, the excited crowd bursts into wild cheers. Chanting Lam Thu's name, the spectators are completely blown away by his incredibly smooth martial arts. Clutching her microphone, the host Lu Mongni runs onto the stage, excitedly announcing how incredible that was. Lin Qiu did not even need a soul skill to completely overwhelm Huang Fan. It was over in a flash, leaving Huang Fan kneeling in disbelief, questioning his own worth. Losing to a mere silver-rank kid like this, his talent truly fell short. Filled with shame, he watched Shanghai Lin Vo claim their victory. Dejectedly dragging himself off the stage, he muttered his quiet defeat. Moving on, the female MC was right in the middle of announcing the next match when she froze. Suddenly, a staff member rushed over and whispered in her ear, leaving her looking visibly surprised. "All right, got it." As the board flashed Shanghai Lin Vo's victory, Liu Mengni quickly got back to business. Next up was the 5-on-5 team battle. Since Yingtian Lin Vo surrendered, Shanghai Lin Vo took the match 8-3. Down below, his captain was already waiting, praising him for holding back his beastification and promising a nice bonus back home. Over the speakers, the announcer called out Gusu Lin Vo versus Jinling Lin Vo. A stunning girl stepped onto the stage. The captain glanced over, pointing out Gusu Lin Vo. Warning Lin Qiu to stay extremely sharp, she noted their captain was a platinum rank. Catching her serious look, he asked if she was truly powerful. With a grave expression, she shared everything she knew about her. He muttered in surprise, having never even heard of her rare light angel awakening. That stunning blonde was indeed Gusu's fearsome platinum rank light angel, the famous Huangfu Yimeng. Hearing her grand title, his eyes locked onto her, silently marking her as a pretty troublesome opponent. She seriously laid down all the critical details. Gusu Lin Vo drew everyone's eyes because their entire roster from starters to subs was strictly female. An all-girl team at this level was exceptionally rare and definitely not to be underestimated. He gasped in sheer disbelief. But watching her step into the arena, you might wonder why they would throw a support healer into a brutal solo duel. Yet Huangfu Yimeng was holding her own fiercely against a massive powerhouse of an opponent. This was Jinling Lin Vo's captain, a terrifying 1-star platinum rank beast-type awakener. Gritting his teeth, Zhou Mo glared at his opponent. Despite the fresh cuts on his face, he still tried to mock her. He barked out that her puny attacks meant nothing, challenging her to watch his next move. A surge of ominous purple energy erupted from him, binding her arms. She quickly crossed her arms to block groaning as a blinding golden flash erupted, launching her counterattack in an instant. Pulling her hands to her waist, she gathered a radiant golden beam that screamed pure danger. Raising her hand high, she summoned a glowing orb overflowing with intense healing energy. Zhou Mo wiped the blood from his cheek, staring in absolute dread as he calculated his odds. Damn it, she kept endlessly regenerating her health, leaving him completely outmatched. On top of that endless healing, she blasted her spiritual energy right into him, dealing massive pain. After a relentless exchange, the beaten brute collapsed straight to the ground. Hanging his head in total defeat, he yelled out that he surrendered. Meanwhile, Huangfu Yimeng was completely fine. Her passive healing shroud was still running at full throttle, instantly erasing any minor scratch. The announcer's voice echoed through the stadium, declaring Huangfu Yimeng the victor. Witnessing her terrifying prowess left both Jingdu Lin Vo and our team in stunned silence. They cruised through the team battle completely unscathed. By now, the first day of the tournament has wrapped up. Capital Lin Vo takes the lead with 11 points. Shanghai Koto and Zhang Lang share second place with 8. Ung Tian Kim Lang and Feng Tian Tit have 3. Sharing the bottom spot, Lin Vo Tan Mon gets 0. The captain nibbles her pen while crunching the numbers. Letting them spend the rest of their time freely, she simply reminds the squad to gather at 7 p.m. for their pre-match meeting. The boys shout back in agreement. Lam Thu stretches with a satisfied sigh, thinking his head is about to explode after watching matches all day, making this the perfect break. Suddenly, he flinches in surprise as Tam Tin dashes out of nowhere, her eyes beaming with excitement. She runs toward him with open arms, calling him master, the moment she spots him. Squinting in sheer exhaustion, he instantly goes on high alert. "Disciple, surely you do not want to." Before he can even finish, she grins widely while clutching her book, admitting she still has tons of questions she wants to ask her master. Reading the room, the other guys wave goodbye and make a quick escape. Lam Thu is not thrilled, but he has to agree. Fine, that is what he gets for being her master, making her beam with joy. She calls him the best master, but he is secretly crying inside because he simply cannot beat this girl. Just like that, she starts pointing here and there all over her notebook. "Right here, what about this lab experiment?" Suddenly, a dark shroud of energy completely wraps around him. His eyes fly open in pure shock as he clenches his teeth. An overwhelming agony suddenly grips his entire body, making him clutch his chest as cold sweat pours down in pain. Is this because he watched the fights so intensely today? A sudden spark of realization ignites deep within his core. Thum Tin watches him with growing concern, but he is in too much pain to answer, only reaching into his pocket. Could this feeling mean he is finally about to break through from silver to gold rank? Pulling out a massive jade green stone, he begins absorbing its raw elemental energy at lightning speed. It is ironic since all his previous breakthrough attempts ended up completely stalled. Yet simply analyzing today's battles was the exact spark he needed to advance. Blinding bolts of lightning crash down on Lam Thu as he ascends to gold 2-star. Clenching his fists, he endures the agony and screams out. In an instant, the storm passes and he smiles warmly at his hands. Reaching gold rank does not just boost his spiritual energy, it unlocks brand new skills. Spatial energy now forms an invisible barrier around his body, with his defense scaling up along with his rank. Lam Thu tightly grasps the glowing light resting in his palm. It is the spatial barrier, and he needs to seize it immediately. Even he is shocked to find he has also awakened myriad thunderbolts. He suddenly recalls someone once saying that lightning-type area of effect skills were just too incredibly rare to find. He remembers having Truong Tom search high and low for this exact spell for the longest time, and yet he just obtained it in a single step. Talk about incredible luck. Right then, Han Quan Ngung and the others return. Surprised to see them, he asks why everyone is gathered here. She explains that 7 p.m. has arrived, but a certain someone simply was not paying attention. Having just broken through, he completely forgot, and now sheepishly scratches his head with a grin. Sorry about that. He apologizes. He suddenly felt a breakthrough coming and lost track of time. Han Quan Ngung chuckles with folded arms, looking entirely relaxed about the whole situation. This kind of matter can't be delayed. If we miss it now, who knows when the next opportunity will ever show up. That teammate standing behind him will be a huge help to the squad once he grows even stronger. While some are happy, the weakest guy is weeping over his miserable life. Brother Qiu, you actually broke through to 2-star gold. I am literally the only silver rank player left in this entire tournament. Speechless, he darkens his face and offers a few quick words. Sorry about that. My friend breaking through like this isn't exactly something I can control. Han Juning quickly cuts off their chat, waving them off. Let's focus back on the competition. How does everyone feel after watching today's matches? Crossing his arms, the teammate replies with a very serious face. Gusu Lingwu is way stronger than us, and she definitely feels threatened by them. But if Gusu Lingwu keeps playing like they did today, they won't stand a single chance against us next time. Qindong looks confused, asking why the instructor says that. Judging by their match today, Gusu Lingwu doesn't seem like an easy opponent to handle. Whenever anyone mentions that squad, the image of Huangfu Yimeng flashes in his mind. Their performance was impressive, but what exactly does their instructor mean? A realization hits him, and he speaks up, wondering if it's because of their actual number of platinum rank players. Han Juning nods with a satisfied smile. Exactly. Thotho is indeed quite smart. Huangfu Yimeng is incredibly strong, but her offense is actually her biggest weakness. Facing the entire group, she makes a serious announcement. This basically means she can't hold off 2 platinum rank fighters at the same time. Once her teammates are taken down, Huangfu Yimeng won't have enough power to fight back on her own. Everyone nods, thoroughly impressed by her sharp analysis. So that's the secret. Our instructor is truly brilliant, and our biggest worry is finally solved. She is already moving on to their next strategy. Since we have completely cleared up all of our concerns about today, let's start discussing our battle plan for tomorrow. Everyone falls silent, focusing entirely on her. Tomorrow's opponent is Jinmen Lingwu, and our starting lineup will be Fan Tongzheng, Hao Wu, Tong Wei Dong Da Xiao, and Lin Qiu. Your task is simple, just win at least one match. Standing in the back, Lin Qiu asks in surprise. Wait, instructor, are we really benching our 9-star gold rank fighters? Han Juning smiles with supreme confidence, intending to save their true strength for later. With our current capabilities, making it into the top B rank won't be an issue. That's when we'll unleash our true power right now. This is nothing more than a warm-up. With the meeting wrapped up, everyone disperses and heads back to their rooms. Alright, that is the plan. Everyone should go back and rest. Only Lin Qiu stays behind, pulling out his phone to call his sweet girlfriend. Since this tournament has brought him so many great benefits, he wants to chat with Zhen Zhen. He smiles as the phone rings. It finally connects, but the moment she answers, a loud thud echoes. Over on Zhen Zhen's side, she was taking a shower when she slipped, dropped her phone, and tumbled onto the floor crying out in pain. The only problem is they are on a video call, so he accidentally sees everything. Seeing her completely naked, his face turns bright red with absolute pure excitement. What on earth is happening right now? Lin Qiu's nose starts bleeding as his heart beats wildly. Who could possibly survive this view while Zhen Zhen quickly screams out in a panic? She frantically tells him not to look while sitting naked on the wet floor, complaining about his terrible timing while he quickly stammers out an apology. Alright, it is entirely my fault. By the way, I have some really amazing news to tell you. Without even waiting for her to answer, he couldn't help but yell out to brag. I broke through to this gold tier. Her jaw dropped in complete shock. What? So fast on screen, he flashes a cool peace sign mentioning some sudden breakthrough from just relaxing and watching matches. Long story short, it just happened. Before he can even finish, her determined voice rings loud from the other side, hyping herself up. Good luck with the match. I'm totally motivated now, so I need to train hard. Good night. She hangs up immediately, leaving him standing there completely blank. Staring at his screen, he sighs. Wait, I still had so much more to say. Still, he doesn't blame her. Understanding her completely, he knows his Zhen Zhen is always working way too hard for better or worse. On the following day, a row of weapons is laid out in the arena. The host steps onto the stage and points at them, welcoming everyone as Liu Mengni. She announces that starting from right now, everyone will surely notice a major change in today's setup. Winking excitedly, she points down at them. All competitors are strictly banned from bringing their own weapons into the match. If anyone needs a weapon, they must choose from this selection. Absolute shocker. Everyone glares at him with dark expressions. Lin Qiu instantly realizes this new rule is specifically targeting him. Is it really this hard to just let Xiao Longlong have a single decent meal? The hostess continues the introduction, declaring the first round between Shanghai Lingwu and Xinmen Lingwu. Suddenly, his system panel pops up, prompting him to confirm today's skill awakening. Reading the message, he sighs. Whatever better activate today's new skill first. Right on cue, the mechanical system voice chimes. System is awakening the skill. Please wait. Congratulations, host, on obtaining S-grade skill enhancement and spirit chi enhancement. This is completely unexpected, overjoyed! He shouts out in pure disbelief. What? 9527. I seriously suspect you are messing with me, Lin Qiu mutters. Before I kept hoping to get spirit chi enhancement every single day, and you never gave it to me. Now that I finally broke through on my own, you hand it over. You did this on purpose, right? The system replies instantly. All skills are selected completely at random. It has nothing to do with me. Does the host wish to enhance now? Why miss out on this golden opportunity? Closing his eyes, he urges it forward. Fine, let's just do it and break through already. Gold 3-star power surges through him in an instant. Enhancement successful. Congratulations, host, on reaching gold 3-star level. Seeing the blinding light radiating from his body, the onlookers gasp in shock. Isn't that the unmistakable aura of a gold tier breakthrough? Others look green with envy, completely unable to believe their eyes. Wasn't this brat still just a silver rank earlier today? Han Juning stares at him from behind, thinking this kid is truly absurd to jump another level so easily. Liu Mengni announces over the speakers that Shanghai Lingwu will now face off against Xinmen Lingwu. Please welcome Lin Qiu from Shanghai Lingwu and Chen Zishi from Xinmen Lingwu onto the battlefield. As they stand face to face, Lin Qiu innocently pulls out his bag to ask a question. Miss, is it really impossible for me to wear my armor in battle? She looks at him with a straight-faced classmate Lin Qiu that is absolutely not allowed. You may choose any of the weapons provided right here. On the outside, she remains professional, but inside she is utterly frustrated. Can he seriously not see who this new rule was made for? Why put her on the spot like this? Gripping a sword tightly is his opponent Chen Zishi, a gold 9-star beast-type awakener with a rare panda beastification ability. Holding his sword, he strikes a cool pose and throws down a challenge. He asks the kid if he dares to test his swordsmanship, feeling pretty confident inside. Sure, this kid knows some basic martial arts, but swordsmanship is a completely different story. The guy was trained by professional masters, but our main character has zero fear and accepts without hesitation. Lam Thu picks up a sword, thinking if this guy really wants to deliver his own defeat, then there is no need to worry about how to take him down. He remembers reading up on this stuff by himself back in the day. Fortunately, he already unlocked plenty of top-tier skills from the system. Hearing Lam Thu's casual response, the show-off loses his mind and charges, cursing the arrogant brat. He unleashes a barrage of slashes, screaming for Lam Thu to witness his true power. Lam Thu does not panic at all, casually blocking the strike with a smile while teasing him. Unable to break through, the guy freezes in shock and lets out a frustrated groan. A rapid exchange of sword strikes follows their duel, intensifying with neither side backing down. As they clash, Lam Thu smiles in satisfaction, even praising his opponent's impressive momentum. Too bad the moment the words leave his mouth, he sends the guy's sword flying. The weapon spins out of his grip, soaring straight into the sky. Before he can even react, he looks up in absolute shock, wondering what just happened. Lam Thu shouts, pointing the blade right at him, declaring that he is simply no match. Tran Tu Tak quickly leaps backward to dodge a potentially fatal blow. Ultimately, he looks down, letting out an incredibly annoyed hiss of pure frustration. Still refusing to quit, he waves his hand, admitting his swordsmanship lost, but claiming the real fight starts now. Seriously, he gets beaten fair and square, and then claims the match is just starting. Even Lam Thu is stunned by how fast this guy can flip the script. Wasn't the whole point to settle this using nothing but pure swordsmanship? He totally forgot to make a rule that whoever cheats has to crawl like a dog. Across from him, the guy crosses his arms as spiritual energy erupts, leaving Lam Thu quite surprised. It looks like Tran Tu Thak's face is turning bright red as his body begins to shift. He transforms in an instant, but instead of looking cool, he just gets two pointy animal ears. The crowd watching from the sidelines bursts into laughter. Oh, look, a cute little raccoon dog. Loving the attention, he smirks and waves Lam Thu over, boasting about the incredible power of his beast form. Lam Thu is not scared at all, barely holding back his laughter behind his hand. This look is honestly just way too hilarious to take seriously. Blushing red with embarrassment, the guy furiously snaps and asks what on earth Lam Thu is laughing at. Lam Thu chuckles. Compared to him, this guy is a total amateur who needs to see a real beast shift. Activating his Space Moon Rabbit transformation, two fluffy white rabbit ears instantly sprout on his head. Now this is what you call adorable. The girls watching are completely mesmerized, clutching their cheeks in pure joy. Every single girl watching instantly falls head over heels for him, completely charmed by how adorable he looks. Some even yell that they want to marry him because he is just too cute. Lam Thu strikes a handsome pose in response, completely stealing the spotlight from his rival. Tran Tu Tak gnashes his teeth in absolute rage, launching a fierce assault with his special sevenfold raccoon strike. The strike erupts with blazing flames slicing down like a sharp blade, parting a watermelon. Staring at the roaring fire, Lam Thu smirks, mocking the clumsy move as if slicing a simple melon. He dodges while teasingly reciting a poem, offering half to his opponent, who refuses the slice. Tran Tu Tak stands there completely frozen in shock. He couldn't win with a sword, and now his bare fists are failing him too. He panics, wondering how this kid can move so slowly and yet still dominate, and somehow block every single one of his combo chains. But Lam Thu doesn't even care, casually reciting random poetry mid-fight while dodging and completely ignoring his opponent's utter desperation. The opponent's face turns bright red, sweating buckets. Why can't I break free? He thinks. Let go of me. Seeing him completely pinned and paralyzed, Lam Thu smirks and pulls his fist back. Before the guy can even react, a powerful palm strike lands square on his chest, making him scream. Look at the arena. It is literally a rabbit blasting a bear away with enough raw force to set the whole stage on fire. With the match won, he finally powers down and calmly retracts his combat stance. Lu Mongni watches in absolute awe that was pure crushing dominance delivered with some incredibly stylish martial arts. Seeing him stand there victorious, she snaps out of her trance and rushes forward. She was so mesmerized that she completely forgot she was hosting, quickly grabbing her microphone. Declaring Lam Thu as the winner, she barely finishes her sentence before he turns and immediately walks off the stage. Watching him leave, she spots the bag he left behind and kindly decides to carry it over to him. Here is your certificate, Lam Thu, which he awkwardly takes back. He tells her to avoid saying such misleading things next time, suggesting she just call it a spirit beast credential instead. With that awkwardness resolved, she makes another announcement. For the upcoming match, Lin Vo Tan Mon has decided to forfeit. This means Lin Vo Tuong Hai secures an easy victory for this round. He smiles contentedly while looking down at his bag, lost in his own thoughts. Combat is not just about raw spirit energy, and stamina fighting techniques are crucial, especially when mastering these forms. Suddenly, a rather distracting view enters his field of vision as someone calls out classmate Lam Thu, and it is not just one or two girls waiting for him, but an entire group. All of them are stunningly well endowed, eagerly asking him if he already has a girlfriend. They gush about how incredibly cool he looked fighting and ask to add him on WeChat. Everyone starts chiming in, talking about how adorable his little rabbit is and clamoring for attention. Any other guy would be thrilled, but he just grimaces in complete confusion at the chaotic situation. Showing what a reliable guy he is, Lam Thu raises his hands to avoid contact and repeatedly turning them down. He apologizes, explaining that he already has a girlfriend, but the girls look highly skeptical. How could that be, they wonder, as he practically radiates a smug aura, basically telling them that he is the one man they will never have. Already taken, and he definitely knows how to behave. Up in the stands, one of the judges turns to Ao Duong Trak and Tudo Ui asking for their thoughts on the last 2 rounds. Tudo Ui seems to have gathered quite a bit of data, smugly stroking his chin. He notes that Kwang Ho is definitely solid, and that girl Huang Fu Ai Meng is pretty impressive too. Others like Tran Long Lam, Van Hien Chu Mat, and Lang Han are also worth keeping close tabs on. The judge then looks over at the fat elder asking what brother Ao Duong thinks. The fat elder's eyes light up as he suggests keeping an eye on Lam Thu, though Tudo Ui does not look pleased, dismissing him because his rank is just too low. Seeing him look down on his favorite student, the fat elder retorts, "What if I told you he went from silver to gold in 3 months?" That single statement leaves everyone in the room completely dumbfounded. Tudo Ui gasps in absolute disbelief, demanding to know how that is even possible. The others look equally baffled, wondering if reaching gold rank has suddenly become that easy, especially considering the pure aura currently radiating from him. He is probably at gold 3-star by now. Even Situ Wei has to admit it is impressive. How did a monster like him end up at Shanghai Spiritual Martial Arts? The old man laughs, his face turning bright red. Ha ha ha, this kid is much more than meets the eye. Just wait, he is definitely going to give you two a massive surprise next. Drenched in sweat and panting heavily, Lin Qiu opens the door to his room. Phew, finally back home. Thinking back to how he literally had to sprint to escape those girls, it was no easy feat shaking off that crowd of rabbit-crazy fanatics. He flops onto the bed, propping his head up and staring at the ceiling to think. For tomorrow's match against Fengtian Spiritual Martial Arts, the teacher did not schedule him to join the fight. He can finally sit back and get some well-deserved rest. Right then a knock comes at the door. Knock, knock, knock. Sitting up, he realizes it is his chubby master. "Master, why are you here?" he asks, having assumed it was just Zhang San. The old man looks serious, saying he has something to discuss with him. Sitting on the bed, Lin Qiu watches his master enter, wondering why the old man is visiting him this late and what he wants to discuss. He pours a glass of water, sets it on the table, and politely offers it to his master. The old man suddenly looks at him intently, asking if he is familiar with the World Tournament. He actually knows a little about it. Yeah, he recalls hearing that it is similar to their current tournament with the entire world participating. It is held once every 4 years, but because it has never been broadcast live, nobody really knows what the actual events are. Wu Yongze takes a sip of his tea and slowly sets the cup back down. "You are wrong." The master tells him the World Tournament is nothing like this local competition, even if both events feature contestants fighting each other. Propping his chin in his hands, the old man speaks in a low, heavy tone. The rules are kept secret because the challenges change completely with every single tournament. On top of that, the battles are far too brutal for the public to watch, as this tournament is a literal fight to the death. Now that sounds incredibly serious. At this point, the old man looks directly at him, completely honest. "Let me be real with you. The survival rate of this tournament is only 20%. Horrified and breaking into a cold sweat, Lin Qiu asks why they would even host something with such a high death rate. The more he learns about this competition, the more unsettling it becomes. His master's face darkens as he turns serious once more, saying there is simply no other choice. This was the final agreement reached by all participating nations, because this tournament is tied to absolutely everything. Without it, the final casualties from global conflicts would easily be 100 times worse, if not more. Lin Qiu gapes in pure shock, realizing that this is how they keep the peace. The tournament decides how global resources and benefits are split, and every nation has agreed to this arrangement. If this tournament did not exist, countries would be constantly fighting endless wars over these valuable resources. The casualties would be catastrophic. Looking down at the floor, the old man seems deeply conflicted. "Honestly, this should not even concern you yet. After all, you are still so young." He trails off before looking directly at Lin Qiu, adding that he still hopes he will participate. After making it sound like an absolute death trap, he still wants Lin Qiu to join anyway. Utterly shocked, Lin Qiu points at himself, asking if he is seriously expected to go. Ouyangze explains that the sheer talent he has shown leaves him no other choice but to send him. Unsure whether to be flattered or terrified, he can only point at himself in disbelief. Is he referring to his rare spatial element? The master nods, noting that they still have half a year before the World Tournament begins. Your incredible rate of growth and extraordinary abilities could drastically increase their entire team's survival rate. Despite his words, the old man is still deeply worried about his favorite disciple, since the World Tournament is incredibly dangerous. If you do not want to go, your master will not force you. That is easy to say, but who would dare to refuse? He knows deep down that with his current strength, there is a very high chance he won't make it back alive from the World Tournament. Lam Thu grit his teeth, silently weighing his options for a long time. Having made his choice, he looks straight at the old man with determination. "Master, I grew up in an orphanage, and the country basically raised me, so if my nation needs my help, Hearing this, the old man's face instantly brightens with a sense of relief. I have decided to accept, and I will never back down. Hearing that firm answer, Ao Duong Truck pats his shoulder in pure satisfaction. Excellent, you are truly my worthy disciple. Once this tournament wraps up, I will train you myself to make sure we boost your chances of survival as much as possible. The old man has it all planned out, adding that there is still one condition. He must first qualify to join them. This martial arts competition is his golden opportunity to prove what he can do. Lam Thu gets the message and clenches his fist with a gentle smile, promising to give it his absolute all. With a disciple who possesses both high talent and solid morals, the master has nothing left to worry about. Excellent, now perform well tomorrow so I can show you off to those two old geezers. Do not embarrass me. But he won't even get to play tomorrow. He looks back with sparkling eyes. But master, the team leader didn't actually schedule me to step onto the field tomorrow. Well, if not tomorrow, then the day after. Plenty of time to show off. Right, the day after then. Finding nothing left to say, the old man waves goodbye and heads out. I will go talk to Han right away, he says, adding that he must absolutely watch tomorrow's match. The next day, the same energetic female MC stands in the center of the arena, microphone in hand. Next up, Gusu Spirit Marshal faces off against Capital Spirit Marshal in a team match with Ao Duong Truck, acting as referee. Sitting in the stands to watch the battle, the guy next to Lam Thu quickly spots something in the arena. Gusu Spirit Marshal is full of beautiful girls, truly eye candy. He secretly chuckles, noting that his master is refereeing the match today. Hearing his friend praise the pretty girls, Lam Thu immediately turns to tease him. Caught you red-handed, should I go ahead and report this to Trin Man? The guy panics instantly. All right, bro, I was wrong, I take it back. While they chat, a gorgeous girl suddenly approaches and wraps her arms around their shoulders teasingly. Chatting about girls instead of watching the match, juniors. Which team are you rooting for? Her generous chest presses right against their heads, causing both of them to flush bright red. Truong Tam even gets a sudden nosebleed while desperately trying to act natural. Probably Capital Spirit Marshal, since Kwang Ho is incredibly strong, and Lam Thu nods in agreement. True, but the captain of Gusu Spirit Marshal is also putting on a very impressive show. Turning his gaze, he spots a stunning blonde girl stepping into the arena, practically glowing. With long, slender legs, her entire figure is absolutely flawless. This is Huangfu Yimeng, in her stunning radiant angel form, confidently declaring that they must win this 5 versus 5 team battle. The one leading the opposing team is none other than Kwang Ho. He points a finger directly at their opponents, calling out to his teammate Lang Han. Stop playing around and finish this quickly, he warns. Because something feels a bit off. Hearing the command, the vice captain of Capital Spirit Marshal Lang Han immediately rushes forward. A fierce clash erupts as both sides lock in balanced one-on-one duels, leaving only the two captains Wai Meng and Kwang Ho waiting to act. He tightens his hand into a fist, keeping his eyes locked onto Yimeng. He calculates his moves, waiting for her to use her healing spell. The moment she acts, he will strike, but why hasn't she made a move yet? Yimeng also glares directly back at that guy, her dark face showing absolute silence as she holds her ground. Suddenly, she points her hand toward the ground and shouts for her teammates to get off the stage immediately. Hu Shirui, the vice captain of the Gusu Spiritual Martial Team, instantly catches her drift. Got it, and with that, they all leap off the arena, leaving Yimeng completely alone. Jiang Hu and his crew are utterly baffled as Ling Xin asks what on earth is happening. Are they giving up? Jiang Hu is just as bewildered, keeping his eyes locked onto Yimeng. Did something go wrong? What is she up to? Yimeng raises both hands, channeling a glowing cross for her Judgment of Light skill. The opposing team freezes in absolute shock, like a bolt of lightning just hit them. Stunned and pale, they have no idea how to react to this. Before they can even think of a counter, the arena erupts with a massive explosion shattering the stage. Even Lin Qiu screams in shock from the spectator stands, asking what kind of power this is. Zhang San points and stammers, while Lin Qiu watches with his mouth wide open. Who said Huangfu Yimeng lacks attack power? Just one look at this skill is enough to prove her raw power is off the charts. The glowing cross transforms into a massive lightning sword, plunging straight down into the arena. Everyone is left completely speechless. It looks exactly like a long-lost divine greatsword from heaven itself. A single strike from this massive blade completely obliterates the entire combat arena. Yimeng is guaranteed to win. No wonder she warned her team to get out of the blast zone. Thick dust and smoke fill the air, forcing everyone to shield their faces. Ling Xin coughs violently as Lin Qiu curses inwardly, staring pale-faced at the giant charred crater left behind on the stage. He thought he could withstand the blast and catch that glowing sword, but the shockwave blew him right out of the ring. With the fight over, the elder Ouyang Ze steps onto the ruined stage to announce the results. The match is finally decided. The favored Capital Spiritual Martial Team actually loses to Gusu Spiritual Martial by a single point. Left in total shock, Lin Qiu runs outside to make a quick phone call, explaining how the arena is filled with swords, and Jiang Hu got blasted away. On the other end, Zhen chuckles and says she already watched the live broadcast. He frowns, still utterly stunned by what he saw, and continues to talk about it. Who would have thought the Angel of Light possessed such a devastating ultimate skill? Listening to him, she gets excited too, and mentions how much she wishes she could be there to see it. After all, only the most elite geniuses get to compete on that stage. Lin Qiu suddenly recalls the elder's words from yesterday, saying only the nation's top geniuses can enter the world tournament. The master had made it clear that he did not want to lose a single one of them. Hearing her repeat the word genius, he suddenly grows quiet and softly calls her name. When Zhen answers, his expression turns dead serious as he asks her a dark question. If I ever end up dying, would you find yourself another boyfriend? The sudden question catches her completely off guard, making her panic and ask why he is saying that. She even asks if he is terminally ill, but he quickly assures her that is not the case. He tries to flex and laugh it off, asking how that would even be possible. He insists his health is perfectly fine, but Zhen stays quiet because joking about death is not funny. Seeing her complete silence, he laughs nervously to brush it off, claiming he was just asking a random hypothetical question that popped into his head. But before he can even finish his sentence, she abruptly cuts him off. She demands to know the truth, asking him to promise that he is not actually going to die. His face flushed red with deep emotion. Zhen, for your sake, I will definitely live a good life, plus I still have to teach our little baby how to cultivate. Hearing those words, her face immediately flushes red with shock, while her mind automatically pictures a happy family of 3. Covering her mouth, she blurts out that she is too embarrassed and quickly hangs up. Fine, all right, I am not talking to you anymore, I am off to cultivate. Left hanging mid-call, Lin Qiu stares at his blank screen in total confusion, wondering why she suddenly hung up. Felt a bit awkward himself. Wait, was she actually just shy? Just then Han Juning walks up from behind and calls out to Lin Qiu. She pulls out a piece of paper praising his excellent performance in the previous matches. Next up is the match against Jinling's Spirit Marshal, and I am putting you on the field. He gets the hint immediately. It seems his master has already arranged everything. Winking with a bright smile, he confidently promises to get the job done. She chuckles at his smug attitude, teasing that she will be watching him, their rising star. He absolutely loves the teasing, scratching his head with a grin, while asking what rising star she is talking about. You think way too highly of me. The next day, Lin Qiu steps onto the arena as the crowd roars with excitement. He stands ready, locking his gaze directly onto his opponent. That being said, his opponent is a fire user, and the guy is already bursting with blazing wild flames. Just looking at him makes Lin Qiu grit his teeth in shock. Did they seriously pit him against a platinum-ranked opponent? These guys are really pushing him way too hard. The moment the match starts, the guy lunges forward with a heavy punch, but luckily, Lin Qiu dodges just in time. The guy frowns silently, acknowledging that this kid actually has some pretty impressive reaction times. But unfortunately, right after Lin Qiu dodges the first hit, the guy instantly follows up with a second punch. It sends him crashing hard to the ground, cutting his face open. The guy mocks him arrogantly, "You are absolutely no match for me." Leaping backward to get some distance, he lands lightly to catch his breath, his bruised, swollen face looking pretty embarrassing. He realizes how insanely fast the guy is. That is platinum combat power for you, and brute forcing, and this means getting wrecked. Landing that hit makes the opponent even more ecstatic, as he reveals long red claws and licks them creepily. He dares Lin Qiu to beastify, mocking that it is his only hope of surviving. But Lin Qiu has already figured out a plan to deal with him. Wiping the blood from his face, he glares back. Not transforming does not mean he will lose. Stunned by his stubborn attitude, the opponent can only stare in disbelief. Has this kid lost his mind from getting hit? After all, he is facing a platinum ranker. But Lin Qiu's expression completely shifts as killing intent flares in his eyes, gathering lightning into his palm. He warns the guy last night, "I read the stars, and today someone is getting struck by lightning." As if answering his call, the sky abruptly darkens with heavy rolling storm clouds. The display is so epic that even the platinum-ranked fighter is left completely stunned. Looking up, he wonders in sheer confusion what on earth is happening. Wasn't this kid supposed to be a beast, transformation awakener? What is with this crazy weather? Holding the raw lightning in his hand, Lin Qiu roars for him to take this divine punishment. With a shout of heaven's punishment, massive bolts of lightning instantly rain down on his opponent. Living up to his platinum rank, the guy leaps high, narrowly dodging the first strike. Now that their powers are matched, Lin Qiu beckons him over, summoning a spatial portal right in front of him. A spatial ring materializes in midair, and a rapid barrage of lightning bolts begins raining down from it. But realizing the truth now is far too late. His jaw drops in absolute shock. Before the guy can process a space-type opponent, a brutal lightning bolt blasts him so hard, his skeleton almost shows. The 3 master instructors are absolutely stunned by what they are seeing. Tudoi shouts out in disbelief, asking if he is dreaming. The kid is using both lightning and spatial elements, leaving the other masters completely wide-eyed. Now they finally understand why Ao Duong Truck recommended this kid. He definitely deserves to be locked into a spot right now. His teammates are just as shocked to find out he can actually wield the lightning element. Han Quan Gung smiles knowingly. No wonder the director insisted she put Lam Thu on the field no matter what. Lam Van Hien turns in surprise, asking if that last bolt of lightning actually changed directions. Only Truong Tam notices it because of his own spatial abilities. The other two are completely clueless, shouting out in shock that Lam Thu is a dual-element awakener. Truong Tam covers his ears, trying to calm himself down. If his boss decided to use it, he clearly has no plans of hiding it anymore. An explanation like this should be enough to cover it. Another teammate rubs his chin in deep thought, noting that the kid seems to have a second stage of beastification. Even if they went all out, they are not entirely sure they could defeat Lam Thu. Han Quan Ngung turns to her team, asking why they all look so miserable. Having someone this strong is actually a great thing for them. With Lam Thu as their trump card, the championship is within reach, instantly lifting everyone's spirits. As night falls, a television in another room is broadcasting footage of his recent battle. A phone call echoes through the room. "Hello, this is Toa Son Du speaking." With a sinister grin, he orders Agent 7987 to prepare for a mission to eliminate him. He glares at Lam Thu on the screen, the Shanghai martial arts prodigy who won the match in just a few moves. The young warrior stands proudly in the spotlight, waving to the crowd. Fans scream wildly as Lam Thu poses for a quick photo, looking incredibly cool. The little rabbit companion looks pleased on the outside, but silently wonders if winning one match is really that big of a deal. Do they really need to get this excited? Suddenly, the elderly Ao Duong Trach appears right in front of him. Surprised to see his master there, Lam Thu feels a hand on his shoulder as Ao Duong Trach tells him to come along. In the blink of an eye, both of them teleport away, instantly appearing in another room. Looking around in confusion, Lam Thu asks where they are, and his master reveals it is Tu Do Ui's study. Another elder appears beside them, prompting the young man to greet Senior Tu Do Ui. Tu Do Ui beams with excitement upon seeing him, highly praising the sheer utility of spatial abilities. Just like that, another familiar face arrives right behind them. He compliments young Lam Thu on a beautiful fight before starting to tease the others. He tells the kid that staying with the useless Ao Duong Trach will lead nowhere, suggesting he join their capital martial academy instead. He even promises to grant his every wish, openly trash-talking his rival. Ao Duong Trach folds his arms, instantly firing back. "You boast, how can you satisfy him? You do not even have spatial powers, so how could you possibly teach him anything about spatial techniques?" Tudoi is speechless as the two old rivals glare daggers at each other. Ao Duong Trach confidently claims he could never steal his prized disciple. Unable to argue back, Tudoi grunts in frustration before the elders finally get down to business. Sitting at his desk, Tudoi sighs and suggests they focus on the main topic first. The stout elder explains that they need to discuss the upcoming World Championship. Tudoi warns him about the extreme danger. He points out that exposing his spatial ability today has serious consequences and asks if Lam Thu understands. Lam Thu thinks and bluntly says no. He wonders why the elder told him to go all out in the first place. Tudoi looks incredibly serious as he speaks to him. He explains that since Lam Thu's power is out in the open, his life is about to get very difficult. Assassins from different factions could strike at any moment, a threat Lam Thu is only now finding out about. Lam Thu is shocked. Is assassination really on the table? Ao Duong Trach pats his shoulder to reassure him, promising they will have guards watching him 24/7. Still, he feels uneasy and hates the idea. Sure, it is for his good. But the suffocating feeling of being constantly monitored by others is something he absolutely detests. He tells him everything can be worked out. Confidently crossing his arms, the elder assures him that they will send a familiar face to keep him safe. Just as his curiosity peaks, that very acquaintance makes her entrance, and it is none other than Tam Tin. Beaming with pure joy, she waves and announces she has officially received her assignment. As the busty girl instantly presses herself right against him, Lam Thu turns completely red with embarrassment. She beams with excitement, declaring that she will not leave her master's side for a single second. She dramatically pulls out handcuffs and snaps them right onto his wrist. Locking themselves together, she declares that she is staying by his side every single second of the day. Lam Thu stares in confusion at just how close they are now. He weakly protests, arguing there is no need to chain them together. Now practically joined at the hip, she immediately pulls out a massive stack of study papers. She says she has some questions to ask her beloved master. Exhausted just by the sight of it, he desperately prays for someone to take this human encyclopedia away. Suddenly, another student walks up and cheerfully announces she has finally found him. Trapped between Tam Tin in front and Lam Van Hien behind Lam Thu, is literally suffocating in the middle. Hugging his arm, she teases him for slacking off before explaining the team is looking for him. Tumtin gasps in surprise, recognizing the older student instantly. Lam Thu immediately realizes his salvation has arrived, and there is no way he is letting it pass. He eagerly agrees, grabbing onto the opportunity and urging Lam Van Hyen that they need to get going immediately. He raises the cuffs and begs her to release him right now. The senior looks at the metal cuffs binding the two together in complete disbelief. Still confused, she unlocks them immediately. The moment he is free, he grabs Lam Van Hyen's wrist and bolts, leaving a waving Tam Tin behind, promising even more questions next time. He breaks into a cold sweat, praying there will not be a next time, as heavy panting echoes down the hall. Gasping for breath, she asks why they had to sprint like that. Equally out of breath, he explains he was just terrified the persistent girl would hunt them down. Finding their frantic escape hilarious, she cannot help but tease him about his popularity. She giggles, remarking on how incredibly popular the junior student is with so many beautiful girls around him. Lam Thu quickly shuts it down, claiming he is already off the market. Right then, Han Quan Ngung steps inside and asks if everyone has arrived so they can begin their strategy meeting. She seriously informs the team that their opponent tomorrow is Kyoto Lingwu Academy. She expects everyone to give this match their absolute all, treating it as if it were the grand finals. She picks up the roster to officially announce the starting lineup for the upcoming battle. For the one-on-one matches, we have Tran Long Lam Van Hien Lam Tu Dien to Lam Chung Vi and Bien Hum. Then the 5-on-5 lineup consists of Tran Long Lam Van Hien Dien Tu Lam Tu and Trung Tam. Just hearing this, he knows Coach Han is putting forward her absolute strongest team. She is aiming for an explosive showdown against their opponents. But looking at actual power levels, the other side is honestly much stronger than our team. Han Kun-ngung smiles confidently, noting that Suzhou Martial Academy has already shown them hope of defeating the capital. Her tactical analysis is completely spot on. On top of that, Lam Thu with his space attribute skills remains their ultimate trump card. Since their junior is already fighting this hard, shouldn't they? As seniors push themselves even more? Hearing the announcement, one of them stands up in excitement, shouting out, "Shanghai Martial Academy!" He smiles gently, thinking of his teacher, while the others cheer loudly for Shanghai to win. The very next day, Lu Mengni is back on stage waving to the crowd. To all our dear viewers, today's highly anticipated match features Capital Martial Academy versus Shanghai Martial Academy. Let us now welcome the competitors from both sides onto the stage. Right now, Capital Martial Academy holds first place with 36 points. Shanghai Martial Academy trails closely in second place by only 2 points. This clash is bound to be a battle of titans as the two fighters step forward. Facing off in the first round is Kung Ho against Captain Tran Long, so let both fighters enter the arena. Tran Long glares at his opponent quietly, admitting that he might not be a match for Kung Ho. Kung Ho is overflowing with confidence, showing off a smug smirk. Tran Long, this is your third year now, is it not? This time I am going to make you taste absolute defeat once again. Despite the blatant threat, Tran Long remains completely determined, his fierce eyes showing that he has absolutely no intention of giving up. He replies, "I know I might not be a match for you, but this competition is not a battle of just one single person. Even if I fall, my teammates will make sure you taste the bitter flavor of defeat." With those words, both sides charge forward, unleashing a pair of devastating punches that collide. Blood splatters. Bones nearly shatter under the sheer force of the impact. No way. Han Kun-ngung watches closely, then turns to Lam Tu. She explains that Kung Ho is slightly weaker than Tran Long, but holds a clear level advantage. Combined with Kung Ho's ruthless spirit techniques, Tran Long is likely going to struggle here. He listens to her in silence, silently agreeing that his teacher's analysis is absolutely correct. From the start, they engage in a raw test of strength. He quickly realizes that even though Kung Ho might have slightly less raw power, a strange destructive energy occasionally flows from the palms of Kung Ho. Sure enough, Kung Ho is gathering spiritual energy into his chest, looking completely fresh and unharmed. Meanwhile, Tran Long is struggling badly, as the destruction attribute has a terrifying trait. Kung Ho can dismantle spiritual energy directly upon contact with his opponent's martial techniques. No use. His attacks are completely neutralized, leaving him highly vulnerable. Before he can stand, Kung Ho builds up an overwhelming pressure. He shapes his energy into a massive skull in mid-air, ready to devour his foe. Tran Long clearly feels his body weakening as the destructive energy begins tearing his muscles apart. If he continues fighting, he will surely face severe injury, or perhaps even death. He stands frozen, staring at the terrifying vortex-like attack heading straight for him. Drenched in sweat and realizing he cannot win alone, he frowns and finally calls out. Before losing his life, he screams his surrender. Kung Ho stops laughing mockingly at his wise decision. Tran Long yields but still walks past him with a glare. This match is not a one-man show, so my defeat does not matter. My teammates are going to make you taste absolute defeat instead. Meanwhile, Lam Van Hien and Lang Han are facing off on the other side. Holding the microphone, Lu Mongni announces the shift to our second match between Lam Van Hyen and Lang Han. Right nearby, Kwang Ho is still trading heated words with Tran Long. He sneers, eagerly waiting. With massive blocks of ice floating in the air, we are about to witness an incredible battle of beauties. The opponent screams out, activating her frozen tundra ice skill. Instantly, heavy white snowflakes start blanketing the entire arena. Thick ice traps Lam Van Hyen to the spot, making her arrogant opponent smirk, thinking victory is already hers. How long can you survive an area attack like this? She sneers, preparing her final blow. But out of nowhere, Lam Van Hyen effortlessly dodges to the side, leaving the girl stunned. Closing the distance in the blink of an eye, she flickers right behind the frozen summoner. Holding a blade in one hand while pinning her opponent down, she watches the girl panic and wonder how to escape. With sharp kunai already pinning Lang Han's shadow, Lam Van Hyen speaks up. Shadow elements act like an assassin. My gold tier skill is Shadow Nail, and you are completely locked down. The girl stands utterly frozen in fear, staring helplessly at the sharp edge pressed against her neck. Pressing her hand even closer to Lang Han, Lam Van Hyen whispers a mock explanation. As for how I avoided your attack, the light hitting your ice block solved that. It cast a massive shadow, allowing me to slip through every single skill. Want to hear more? Completely helpless, she has no choice but to yell out that she surrenders. The announcer immediately declares Lam Van Hyen the winner of the second one-on-one match. Despite winning, she looks completely unsatisfied and sighs about how boring it was. Meanwhile, the crowd in the stands is absolutely loving the rather close contact between the two beautiful fighters. Even Trong Tam and Lam Thu are blushing with massive nosebleeds. Wild thoughts of the girls are running through their minds, making them check if they are still breathing. He gets the hint and nods, agreeing that the match was quite embarrassing. The announcer's voice echoes through the arena once again. Next up is our fan favorite Lam Thu facing off against Chu Tu Hang. Hearing his name, Lam Thu stands up, preparing to step onto the stage and face his opponent. Staring at the guy, he tells himself to focus, glad that this opponent seems relatively easy to handle. This opponent is a gold tier plant elementalist, Chu Tu Hang, who immediately waves his hand in a provocative gesture. He tells Lam Thu not to get cocky after a lucky win, promising to expose him today. Talk about an empty can making the most noise. Lam Thu frowns in disgust, realizing his opponent is not very bright. Deciding to end this quickly, Lam Thu still takes a moment to fire back. Asking where he gets all that confidence, he completely triggers the guy into rushing forward. Using his Vine Whip skill, the guy strikes first, but suddenly freezes mid-action in pure shock. Dropping down from a spatial portal above, Lam Thu winds up his fist and asks what he is looking at. Before the guy can even react, Lam Thu delivers a devastating kick straight to his spine. That kick packed a massive punch after all he wanted to end this quickly, making every single strike absolutely lethal. Chu Tu Hang lies completely flattened on the ground, unable to even move, let alone fight back. It is a total defeat. Lu Mongnai awkwardly grabs the microphone to announce Shanghai Lingwu and Lam Thu as the winners. Without a doubt, this goes down as the fastest match in tournament history. Honestly, it is almost painful to watch getting completely knocked out before even throwing a single punch. To make things worse, they actually have to carry him out. Crying tears of pure frustration, he mutters that Lam Thu is not even human. While he weeps, others just snicker at his misery, realizing his supposedly high and mighty attitude was nothing but a joke. Following a series of highly intense one-on-one showdowns, the individual round wraps up with Shanghai Lingwu taking a solid 4-2 lead. Up on stage, the lovely host winks playfully at the crowd. Moving into the next 5-on-5 team battle, will Jingdu Lingwu finally reveal a secret trump card. Now let us welcome both teams onto the field. As their names are called, the competitors step forward. First up for Jingdu Lingwu is Kwang Ho, a Platinum 3-star user of the Destruction element, joined by Lang Han, a Platinum 1-star Ice element, and Chu Tu Hang, a Gold 9-star Plant element, along with Liu Qi Vian, a Gold 9-star Earth element, and An Mo a Gold 8-star Healer. Hearing the lineup, Kwang Ho scowls with deep irritation. He never expected Shanghai to dominate the individual rounds 4-2, meaning they will have to go completely all out during this team fight. Across the arena, Lam Thu leads his squad forward with Shanghai Lingwu sending out the powerful Tran Long, a Platinum 1-star Strength user alongside Lam Van Hyen, a Platinum 1-star Dark element. Rounding out the team are Dien Thu Lam, a Gold 9-star Beastification user, and Trong Tam, a Silver 3-star Healer. The host stumbles slightly when reaching the final member. Player Lam Thu apparently uses the Beastification element. Listed as a Gold 3-star with an unknown element, the vague description leaves everyone in the arena completely baffled and annoyed. What on earth does an unknown element even mean? Is it because his previous displays of spatial and lightning abilities left the system totally confused? Kwang Ho wastes no time mocking Trong Tam, laughing at the fact that they are actually fielding a mere silver rank. Shanghai Lingwu must be completely out of real fighters, so you might as well just surrender right now. The blatant insult leaves the poor healer red with anger. Seeing his teammate get bullied, Lam Thu steps forward to deliver a sharp retort. We will see who actually loses once the fight begins, and Tran Long quickly nods in agreement. He looks back at the two teammates behind him to initiate their plan, and they nod in silent understanding. Instantly catching on to their movements, Kwang Ho turns to warn his own team. Watch out, they are making a move, he warns, immediately summoning a surging wave of blue water. While his team looks incredibly flashy, Lam Thu's squad is simply standing in a straight line, showing absolutely zero interest in showing off. Realizing he completely overthought their grand strategy, Kwang Ho loses his temper and yells, "Where is your actual formation? Are you trying to make a complete joke out of us?" Tran Long just chuckles and calls for Truong Tam, who eagerly replies that he is on it. Standing behind the front line, he channels all his energy forward. With their strength suddenly boosted, the frontline fighters waste no time and charge straight ahead. Kwang Ho charges forward, shouting to push through, while he personally targets their annoying healer. He aims directly for Truong Tam, with lightning crackling dangerously around his hand. But the clever healer has already leaped clean off the arena stage. Flashing an innocent smile, he raises his hands in surrender and bids them a cheerful farewell. Left with nobody to hit, Kwang Ho is absolutely seething with rage. But Truong Tam has already leaped out of the arena, leaving his frustrated opponent to grumble about how fast the kid ran away. Oh well, at least that is one less opponent for them to worry about. But as Kwang Ho turns around, after bickering with Truong Tam, he is shocked to see only Lam Thu's team remaining on the stage. Looking around, he sees La Liette and the rest of his teammates already lying defeated outside the arena. Furious, Kwang Ho glares in disbelief, demanding to know what on earth just happened. While Kwang Ho was busy targeting Truong Tam's healer, Lam Van Hien had already closed in to eliminate Lang Han, whispering a chilly threat about seeing her again. Then they cleared the rest, with Lam Thu kicking Chu Tu Hang out to eliminate him a second time. Some did not even need to fight, simply asking the enemy healer if she wanted out. "Should I throw you out, or will you jump?" Terrified, she bursts into tears and leaps off the stage. Tran Long does his part, taking down another member of the opposing team. Now those defeated teammates can only look back at Kwang Ho with absolute guilt. "Boss, we are so sorry," they shout. "We got completely wiped out." Meanwhile, Lam Thu's team is ecstatic, praising his brilliant strategy of trading one teammate to wipe out 4 of the enemy. The realization finally hits Kwang Ho, and his killing intent flares as he realizes this was their plan all along. Using stat buffs for a quick sweep, they successfully left him completely on his own. Yet he does not show a shred of fear, clenching his fists with a defiant glare. Just as well, he sneers, "Having teammates around only held me back from using my best moves." Hearing this, Tran Long grits his teeth, his eyes widening in sudden realization. "Oh no!" Tran Long urgently shouts to the team. "Quick, we need to attack together while our buffs are still active." Having fought him before Tran Long knows, they must suppress him before he can unleash his ultimate skill. But no matter what they plan, Kwang Ho remains absolutely confident in his overwhelming power, scoffing at their foolishness. "Do you really think a mere numbers advantage is enough to take me down?" he mocks. He immediately unleashes his Dark Star Soul skill, sending his energy erupting like a raging wildfire. In an instant, his devastating single-handed assault sweeps through everyone on Lam Thu's team. Even Lam Thu is shocked by this destructive power, as the blast tears through Lam Van Hien's defenses, shredding her clothes. Everyone is sent flying back, struggling desperately just to keep their footing on the arena floor. Without pausing, he charges forward to press the attack. Just then, an elder leaps onto the stage, unleashing his own power to halt the devastating charge and pause the match. He warns them directly that this attack is far beyond what they can block. On the ground, Tran Long stares at the senior in utter shock. Kwang Ho lets out a smug laugh, arrogantly telling the referee to go ahead and declare the match over. The referee looks at the fallen fighters, noting that 3 of them have indeed been knocked out of bounds. Suddenly, a lingering streak of blue lightning flashes through the air, darting straight for Kwang Ho's head in a split second. Caught completely off guard by the blast, he furiously demands to know who hit him. As the smoke clears, Lam Thu emerges, still standing firmly inside the arena, bounds with a mocking grin on his face. "Sorry, grandson, but I still have not fallen off this stage." Brimming with confidence, he raises his hand to challenge him as the match continues. Forcing himself to calm down, Kwang Ho turns to the elder, asking if this kid is actually telling the truth. The elder nods in agreement, confirming that Lam Thu is indeed correct about what happened during the skill release. Recalling the scene, the referee confirms that Lam Thu used a short-range teleportation technique while still suspended in mid-air. Since he never actually touched the ground outside the rules state, he is not eliminated. Tran Long grits his teeth in frustration, devastated that such a perfect start was ruined. He blames himself for letting Kwang Ho turn the tables alone, wishing he had the strength to do more. Lam Van Hien comforts him, pointing out that at least Lam Thu is still in this. With that, the elder officially resumes the match, forcing a very annoyed Kwang Ho back into the fight he thought he already won. Fuming, he glares in frustration. Teleportation, he almost forgot about this kid's annoying ability. He sneers mockingly, asking if the kid really thinks that mediocre talent is enough to beat him. Lam Thu refuses to back down, crossing his arms and replying that they won't know until they try. Classic tough talk, but inside he's actually sweating a bit. Even so, his only real advantage at this point is his pretty high level of mobility. But the level gap is just too massive. Dragging this out with Kung Ho will only deplete his energy. Glancing up, he wishes for the moon, but unfortunately it is broad daylight. Under a full moon, using his Moon Master form might actually give him a decent fighting chance. Hearing that confident tone, the enemy immediately tenses up, letting his power surge once again. He wonders if this brat really wants to trade blows with him. Based on the previous fight, the kid's martial arts are pretty solid, yet they just stand there waiting. Deciding not to overthink it, Lam Thu finally triggers his beast transformation. Win or lose, he has to take a massive gamble, and that starts with turning into a rabbit. He clenches his fists and lets out a roar. Instantly, the weak little bunny image vanishes, replaced by the fierce, towering form of a mature Moon Master. This insanely handsome, mature transformation has every single girl in the crowd completely swooning. Kung Ho gasps in absolute shock, a double beast transformation. Even the host Lu Mong Ni is staring completely wide-eyed, wondering if this could possibly be a rabbit skill. How is this even possible, she wonders, as wild fantasies of a muscular rabbit start rushing through her head. Oh, that raw, untamed energy and aggressive presence radiating from him is incredibly intense. Kung Ho is shaken for a second, but he quickly forces himself to calm down. Pointing a mocking finger, he sneers that no matter what form the kid takes, he is still just a rabbit. Lam Thu shrugs it off with a smirk. Listen up, nephew, your martial uncle is going to train you today. In his mind, he calls out to System 9527, asking how long he can sustain this state at full power. The system responds that the host is currently at Gold 3-star rank. While the full moon form lasts only 2 minutes, the current moonless state can endure for 10 minutes max. Lam Thu grins confidently. 10 minutes is more than enough time. With a sudden spin, he unleashes his Dimension Slash, sending a roaring green tornado straight at Kung Ho. Kung Ho blocks with both arms, muttering that a pitiful attack like this cannot possibly hurt him. But the green light suddenly shifts direction mid-air, catching the opponent completely off guard. Wait, did it just vanish? Sensing a presence behind him, he spins around, only to see the same raging storm reappear. The surprise strike connects, making him clutch his arm in absolute disbelief that this brat actually managed to wound him. This kid's offensive output right now has clearly reached at least the platinum tier. Even worse, before he can even process the shock, that same strike loops right back around. It slams directly into his back, once more veins bulging from the sheer pain as he struggles to stand. This unpredictable fighting style is getting incredibly difficult to defend against. This cannot go on. Pushed to his limit, he plants his feet firmly into the ground, completely furious and ready to strike back. Without hesitation, he throws a heavy, straight punch forward. Seeing the incoming assault, Lam Thu instantly conjures up a spatial shield. He figures this is the perfect chance to test his Moon Master form and see just how strong his body has become. The heavy punch collides violently against the glowing barrier as their immense powers clash. Locked in a fierce stalemate, Kung Ho realizes with dread that this kid's raw strength actually rivals Tran Long. Seeing that it's not working, he activates his destruction boost. But if you want to challenge me, you are still far behind. And indeed, with just a slight boost, Lam Thu's shield already cracks under the immense pressure. A blue flame blasts him back as his opponent laughs, mocking him for knowing nothing about the destruction element. Lam Thu barely manages to stand completely exhausted on the arena floor. Kneeling and coughing, he realizes the destruction element is truly terrifying. To think it could shatter his spatial shield from the very inside. Wiping the blood from his mouth, he feels his current physical limit. If that destructive energy had penetrated his body a second earlier, he would have lost for sure. Up in the stands, Lam Van Hien stands up in panic, her eyes tearing up. Tran Long quickly warns her not to lose control, but she still turns anxiously to Han Quan Ngung. Teacher Lam Thu is not going to make it, should we? Before she can finish, a mocking voice cuts in. Since when did our beautiful Miss Lam care so much about the Academy's reputation? She freezes in embarrassment, quickly stuttering that it is not like that at all. The calm teacher snaps her fingers, telling her not to worry. We must believe in the strength of our little junior, as this is his stage. Seeing Lam Thu in such a pitiful state, Kwang Ho smugly advises him to just give up early. Yet he stands right back up, even laughing. Clutching his injured arm with a darkened expression, he scoffs at the idea of surrendering. Before the words can fully leave his opponent's mouth, he completely vanishes. Left completely bewildered. A startled Kwang Ho wonders where he went. A spatial rift tears open behind him as Lam Thu emerges, telling him to keep dreaming. Startled, the opponent quickly spins around his hand, crackling with a powerful lightning fist. He swings, yelling for the brat to take his punch, but his fist only strikes empty air, leaving him dazed. Dozens of spatial portals suddenly materialize around him, with Lam Thu jumping through them to toy with his target. Taunting his opponent, he drives Kwang Ho into a wild, screaming rage. Damn it, is this guy a slippery eel or what? He can't even touch him, let alone land a solid strike. Frustrated, the heavy hitter realizes he is completely vulnerable to a surprise attack at any second with no way to dodge. But mid-thought, Lam Thu suddenly drops right down from above, casually asking what he is staring at. Now brace yourself and take this heavy punch right to the face. He follows up with a dimensional slash and a divine retribution. He continuously batters the guy from one side to another, unleashing a relentless barrage. Kwang Ho is left totally helpless, unable to find a counter. The spatial element is truly troublesome, making this brat as slippery as an eel. After a satisfying round of beating his target, Lam Thu notices the man is still grinning, showing no signs of defeat. The level gap is just too wide, meaning even this high-frequency onslaught only inflicts minor scratches on the giant. Knowing his limits, he can only frown at the situation. On top of that, his own spiritual energy is running dangerously low. Sensing this, Kwang Ho glares back at him, his raw power surging once again. He sneers, asking if the kid is out of energy before immediately lunging forward to strike. Declaring that it is his turn now, he is shocked when Lam Thu simply stands there holding up a hand. He halts in confusion while Lam Thu maintains his incredibly cool and confident demeanor. My dear nephew, your Uncle Lam can only teach you this much for today. How much you actually learn depends on your own talent. So until we meet again. Kwang Ho still had no clue, his anger completely boiling over. Damn it, you're still playing games with me. Screaming, he unleashes his destructive spiritual skill to beat him within an inch of his life. How can you expect me to let this go when I am covered in wounds? He snaps, but his furious strike hits empty air. Lam Thu simply teleports right off the stage, raising his hands to call out a surrender. Since he left the ring, no more fighting is allowed. This leaves Kwang Ho completely helpless, screaming that Lam Thu cannot just run away after a fight. Come back and let me hit you. But who would be that foolish? Lam Thu even mocks him by making a funny face, driving him absolutely insane. With nowhere to vent, the guy can only scream in pure frustration. He slams a furious fist straight into the ground, shattering the floor in rage. Lam Thu casually sighs, muttering that kids these days are too hot-headed. Fuming, Kwang Ho can only point and scream at his opponent's back. He vows to get absolute revenge in the grand finals, but Lam Thu immediately shuts him down with another tease. He warns him to survive the semifinals first, instead of getting crushed by Lin Qiu To. The loud victory announcement echoes across the field. Lin Qiu Do defeats Lin Shanghai with a score of 74. Despite the loss, Han Quan Ngung smiles, gently satisfied with their solid effort. Tran Long walks up from behind, agreeing that Lam Thu did great. He notes this is just the points round, promising they will win next time. Lam Thu confidentially smiles fully, agreeing that they will absolutely dominate the next round. Before he even gets off the stage, a beautiful girl grabs his face in deep concern. And just like that, before Lam Thu can even respond, his eyes roll back as he completely collapses. The entire crowd gasps in shock as she screams Lam Thu's name in sheer panic. When he finally wakes up, he finds himself looking at a gorgeous face and a very generous view, making his nose bleed instantly. What on earth is going on here? Worried, the girls panic and ask why his nose is bleeding so heavily all of a sudden. They quickly tell him to stay calm because they are already casting healing magic. The three of them gather around, focusing their energy to heal him as fast as possible. Eventually, Lam Thu looks much better as he rests comfortably in Lam Van Hyen's warm embrace. She sighs in relief that he woke up while he confusingly asks if he passed out. Han Quan Ngung explains that his energy was completely drained during the tough fight, causing him to collapse before finishing his sentence. Lam Van Hyen nods her head in absolute agreement. Finally, clear-headed Lam Thu scratches his head in total embarrassment as he realizes what happened. Suddenly, Wai Mong nervously squeezes past the group, looking extremely shy and awkward as she approaches. She asks Lam Thu and leader Han if they can speak privately for just a moment. Stepping away to a quiet corner, the three begin their discussion. Imong gets straight to the point, asking them for a massive favor. She puts on a pitiful expression, clutching her chest with weak, desperate eyes. She asks if Lam Thu can intentionally throw the upcoming match when Lin Shanghai faces Lin Qiu To. Both of them are utterly shocked, asking her to clarify what she means by surrendering. She looks away, explaining that Lam Thu's abilities are a direct counter to her own power. Besides, they have two platinum players anyway, making the final outcome of the tournament highly predictable. As the captain, Wai Mong simply does not want Lin Qiu to suffer an embarrassing defeat. Since it is his first time getting a request like this, he just scratches his head. But Han Juning does not hesitate and quickly agrees to it. Understood, she says, promising to arrange it, but then she blushes looking at him again. She mentions having one small request before pulling out her phone and sliding right up next to him. She admits she is actually a big fan, asking to take a photo together with her transformed bunny form. Rejecting a sweet request like this would just be awkward, so he immediately agrees. Sure, taking a photo is fine, but she suddenly turns into a cute bunny and points to her ears. Like this, she asks with a satisfied smile, snapping several photos in a row. Seeing this, the other girls watching from afar get totally jealous and want their own photos too. And let me tell you, freshman contestant Lam Qiu has quickly become the most popular guy in the academy. A massive crowd surrounds him while Qin Zhenzhen fumes in anger, making Lam Qiu let out a heavy sigh of relief. If Zhenzhen catches him like this, he knows he will literally be turned into a block of ice. Just then, System 9527 announces he has unlocked the SS rank perception skill, allowing him to sense even the slightest energy fluctuations around him. Within a 100-meter radius, the system will automatically ping him whenever spiritual energy fluctuates inside this zone. He thinks to himself that this skill is incredibly broken. Now no suspicious person can ever sneak up on him again. Time to test it out. Lam Qiu immediately senses massive energy fluctuations coming from the captain's room, meaning he must have broken through to Platinum 2-star. Indeed, Zhang San is currently on the phone talking with Cheng Min. Shen Xing suddenly leans in close, babbling happily as Lam Qiu looks down at her. He mutters a quick apology for eavesdropping, wondering what exactly they are up to. Master, she says, can your disciple join you for a quick walk outside? It is the perfect chance to test his brand new skill, leaving Shen Xing completely confused. She warns him that Grandpa Ouyang said bad guys are trailing him, so he shouldn't wander around aimlessly. What is there to fear? He replies, showing off his strength was always meant to draw the enemies out. Besides, if he stays cooped up inside, how will they ever find the courage to attack? Luring them out, he realizes as he senses they are indeed still trailing closely behind. Lam Qiu suddenly pulls Shen Xing close, making her blush as he whispers to stay quiet because they are being followed. He spots two girls trailing them at the 2 o'clock position who must have started tailing them the moment they left. Asking if they should act now, he cautions that it is too crowded here, so they need to find a secluded spot first. Walking to a quiet spot, Lam Qiu stretches and loudly tells the two of them to come on out. They step forward claiming to be his fans and asking if they can take a picture with him. That is right, they eagerly nod, saying they just really want a quick photo. Lam Qiu scoffingly points out how clumsy they are, full of openings, demanding to know who sent them. They play dumb, asking what he means while insisting they just think his bunny form is super cool. He shakes his head, telling them their disguise skills are honestly pathetic. First off, their stiff smiles prove they are wearing special masks, and second, their muscles are way too toned. The calluses on their hands prove they have spent years handling firearms or wielding deadly daggers. But most importantly, his eyes basically work just like a living X-ray machine. Pointing downward, Lam Qiu notes that the daggers strapped to their thighs are the ultimate giveaway. Caught red-handed, they freeze, while Shen Xing cheers him on as the legendary Sherlock Qiu. Shen Xing gazes at him with pure admiration, but the assassins just sneer, asking, so what if they got caught? Meet 7-9, a Platinum 5-star Shadow Cat, and 8-7, a Platinum 6-star Snow Leopard. You are dead anyway, they hiss, while Lam Qiu instantly notices the deadly poison coating their blades. 7-9 realizes the kid might have noticed something, but decides it does not even matter anymore. Who told you to become the target of our Black Rose? The two of them charge straight ahead. Thumting tells her master to step back as she channels her dark power, entering her corrupted state. Lam Qiu is shocked. Is this his disciple actually absorbing poison like the legends say? How is this possible? She absorbed all that toxic gas and is still completely fine. Both assassins quickly collapse, leaving Thumting to ask her master what to do. Leave them to me, a calm voice says as a man approaches. Lam Qiu gasps. Master, do you know you can scare someone to death like that? Aren't you still standing here totally fine? If you are done here, get back to Linvo Capital. It will be bad if more enemies come after you. Understood? Lam Qiu replies as he picks up a valuable-looking dagger from the ground. He decides to keep it and tells his disciple to head back. Suddenly, he notices spiritual energy surging around her. Asking about her breakthrough to Platinum 4-star, he realizes she successfully advanced. He asks about her current rank, and she proudly reveals she reached Platinum 4-star. Lam Qiu jokingly whines, how on earth can she level up just by inhaling some toxic gas? She admits that after going into her corrupted state, seeing poison gives her an irresistible urge to absorb it. Reassuring him, she says his own leveling speed is also pretty legendary. With the crisis temporarily resolved, they safely return to the player dorms in Linvo Capital. Why is my door open? Lam Qiu steps cautiously inside. To his surprise, the beautiful Tan Chan Chan is waiting for him with a fresh fruit basket. Chan Chan He rushes over to embrace her, asking if this is a dream. He teases her, asking if she missed him and demanding a playful kiss. Tan Chan tells him to stop messing around, claiming she only came to support the school. She presents a high-energy dinner box she prepared to keep his strength up for the competition. Touched by his beloved's sweet gesture, Lam Thu gratefully accepts the bento. Pouting his lips, he jokes that he can only repay her with a warm embrace. She quickly dodges his grasp. "Stop messing around and meet our guest here." Remembering his manners, Lam Thu introduces his guest, telling his disciple to greet her master's lady. Thum Tin introduces herself respectfully, explaining that her current duty is to protect her master's safety. Protection, Tan Chan worriedly asks if he is actually in danger. Realizing he is in a tight spot, Lam Thu knows he cannot let her worry. If she finds out, she will definitely stay, and he refuses to drag her into danger. He quickly laughs it off, asking what danger could possibly exist inside the academy. But she sees right through him, asking if the secret he is hiding is truly dangerous. Sighing, he tells her it is nothing big, and promises to explain when the time is right. Though she feels down, she promises not to pry, prompting him to hold her close and assure her everything is absolutely fine. Laughing, he adds that he still has to marry her first anyway. Blushing, she reminds him that he is still on a probation period. A sudden knock at the door breaks the moment, as his teacher arrives with urgent news. Interrogating them, Lam Thu quickly asks if they got any useful information. The teacher reveals they belong to a shadowy group called the Black Rose. Their members do not use names, identifying themselves solely by numbers instead. Composed entirely of women, this organization has been secretly monitoring several of their nation's key officials. Although the captured assassins were platinum rank, both have successfully eliminated high-level diamond rank warriors before. But before they could extract any real information, both captives were poisoned to death. The teacher warns that executing such a bold move inside Lin Qiu capital proves they have a traitor. Xiao Qiu Xinger, the enemy, has already infiltrated Jingdu Lingwu. You two must prioritize your safety. Understood. Lin Qiu realizes they need to be even more cautious if the enemy is inside. Then footsteps approach. Qin Zhenzhen asks why Lin Qiu has not gone inside yet. Oh, that she frowns. Always hiding things from her, she huffs that she must go practice and leaves. Already, he grabs her hand, wishing they could sit together longer since they only just met. I did not mean to do that, he stammers, but I really wanted to talk to you a bit longer. Blushing, she realizes he has not changed at all. Qin Zhenzhen agrees to stay. Fine, but tomorrow is the finals, so they both still need to train hard. Once Zhenzhen leaves, Lin Qiu wonders if these assassins have any other lackeys lurking around. To keep Zhenzhen safe from harm, there is only one path. Even though Lin Qiu stays completely silent, she knows she has to help him no matter what. Zhenzhen looks at him, knowing there is only one option, getting much stronger. Both steel their resolve. At the massive arena, the announcer welcomes the excited crowd. The highly anticipated Spirit Martial Tournament finals have finally arrived. The teams competing for the championship title include Jingdu Spirit Martial, Gusu Spirit Martial, Shanghai Spirit Martial, and Jinling Spirit Martial. The first match of this day begins with Jingdu Spirit Martial facing off against Gusu Spirit Martial. The two rivals instantly clash now. Lin Qiu closely observes the arena, realizing that if Gusu pulls off a victory like last time, their own chances of claiming the championship will skyrocket, especially since he pulled an S-rank skill yesterday that can amplify his spiritual energy. Gold Tier 4 achieved. Wait, how is he leveling up so fast? Is Jiang Hu ready to face Huang Fu Yimeng's devastating Judgment of Light? The Judgment of Light clashes with the Dark Star skill as neither opponent backs down a single inch. That monster Jiang Hu has somehow grown even stronger. He charges ahead, trading devastating blows until thick clouds of dust consume the entire arena. What an absolute masterclass of a fight! Let's give a massive round of applause to Jingdu Spirit Martial for securing the very first ticket to the Grand Finals. It looks like we will be facing Jingdu Spirit Martial in the finals tonight. Coach Han Juning notes, do not put too much pressure on yourselves. Aim high, but just do your absolute best. Sai, who does not want to win, but that guy Jiang Hu is a complete freak of nature. Lin Qiu analyzes the situation, admitting they are no match for Jingdu, but then he raises his hand with an idea. Teacher Han, what is today's lunar date? The 15th, why? Oh, no reason. He flashes a devious smirk. The 15th is perfect, since the moon will be completely full. Gusu Spirit Martial goes on to defeat Jinling Spirit Martial to claim third place. And next is the highly anticipated moment everyone has been waiting for, the Grand Finals. This final match is a one-on-one showdown between the two team captains Jiang Hu and Chen Long. Bring it on, let's have a spectacular final battle before we both graduate. An explosive skill erupts. What is this? He knows that strength alone will not win this. The two clash violently, then immediately jump back. Not bad at all, breaking through in just a few short days. To show you the ultimate respect, I must fight with everything I have got. The 9 Cauldron Spirit skill is summoned. Coach, our captain is going all out against Jiang Hu. Should we just forfeit this round? But Han Juning firmly disagrees, noting this was Chen Long's own personal decision. If he forfeits a permanent mental block, we'll hold him back, destroying any future chance of reaching the diamond rank. The two clash fiercely with the opponent, believing Tran Long's greatest advantage is his raw, overwhelming strength. There is no way I can clash directly with him. Cough. A heavy punch lands, throwing both back. I must defeat him before his destructive spiritual energy goes completely wild. Spiritual technique. Unleashing Thien Quan, a strike flies straight toward his face. Courting death, he sneers, activating his destructive skill. The opponent grabs Tran Long by the leg, dragging him back a long distance before they both collapse. Captain, is all of this damage really worth it? Just to defeat me, you have completely ruled yourself out of the next team match. Maybe it is not worth it, but I refuse to live with regrets. Tran Long, you are a true warrior. Unbelievable, folks. For the first time in tournament history, we have an absolute draw. What now? This lingering destructive energy is extremely tough to cure. With our captain officially out of the upcoming team round, the healer rushes to treat him. My bad, everyone, he sighs, admitting he got too worked up. Lam Thu pats his shoulder, telling him not to worry, because the championship is already theirs. Haha, what do you think? I am completely invisible here. Even though I won our last match, I spent the whole time taking punches. This time, I'm absolutely going to teach this kid, Lam Thu, a lesson. Sensing Kwang Ho's thoughts, Lam Thu playfully tells his nephew to prepare for some uncle-level love. Han Quan-ngung remarks that Tho Tho might actually pull this off. After witnessing such a brutal battle, he still has the nerve to boast against Kwang Ho. With Tran Long definitely benched, their chances in the upcoming one-on-one rounds are looking slim. Based on their current rosters, the best outcome they can hope for is a tight 3-2 victory. Lam Thu listens closely. It all comes down to the final team battle. Let me take charge of commanding the team. Battle Lam Thu suggests leaving Han Quan-ngung completely stunned. The plan is simple. He says you guys just need to crush those 4 opponents. Leave Kwang Ho to me, see instructor. This is the master plan I was talking about. Wasn't our last fight a direct one-on-one battle anyway? Everyone get into position, but can you really handle this alone without pushing yourself too hard? A real man never says he cannot do it, Lam Thu replies. With both sides completing their battle formations, the referee declares the match started. You are our captain now, Lam Thu, and we will follow your lead into battle. Lam Thu silently tells his senior sister to trust him. He came back fully prepared, and they only need to sweep up the mess afterward. Someone screams out for his boss. Is this reckless, suicidal fighting style of yours meant to drag us both down to hell? You can go take a nice break now. Stop talking and get off the stage. Help me, I surrender, he screams as the arena descends into pure, unadulterated chaos. Kwang Ho watches in absolute horror as his own team members are thrown off the stage. Do you really think teaming up 2-on-1 is enough to take me down? He mocks them. A single Dark Star technique is more than enough to blast all of you off this stage. Wait, I am not even fighting, Lam Thu says, leaving the opponent completely baffled. Why are you still standing there? He suddenly unleashes his support skill. Glory blessing. Sorry to disturb you guys, he says, making Kwang Ho rage at how shamelessly sly he is acting. If Lam Thu thinks he can win with that tiny power boost without even using his beast transformation, he is dead wrong. Lam Thu just chuckles playfully. Furious Kwang Ho yells that no matter how hard they struggle, he will be the last one standing, activating his destructive skill. Kwang Ho charges forward only for Lam Thu to teleport behind him with a devastating thunderstrike. Kwang Ho roars, "Not this again, Lam Thu! Do you dare to fight me fair and square without using your teleportation?" Lam Thu replies, then, "Do you dare to fight me fair and square without your spiritual energy? This is my advantage, so why on earth should I give it up just to play along with you?" As the full moon rises, his raw power explodes. Lam Thu activates his Moon Master full moon form. With all stats boosted by 500%, plus Tam Ni's blessing, Lam Thu wonders just how insanely strong he's become. He locks eyes with his opponent. "Hey, didn't you want a fair fight? Nephew Kwang. Now I'm giving you that exact chance, so you better not regret it." Kwang Ho sneers, thinking a minor buff is enough to take him on. "You're just begging for death," he yells, charging forward at blind speed. Suddenly, Lam Thu appears right beside him. "Wait, didn't you say no teleporting?" "I didn't use teleportation at all. The simple truth is that you're just way too slow. With my current speed boost, you can't even dream of keeping up with me. Now get ready to learn a lesson from your Uncle Lam." A dimensional slash rips forward, and Kwang Ho's defensive barrier is completely shattered. This is impossible. Even as he tries to brace himself, the strike tears into his back, spraying blood everywhere. Drawing blood from Kwang Ho so easily, it makes absolutely no sense. Lam Thu is insanely fast now, with a power level easily matching a 7 or 8 star platinum rank. Could he have been hiding his true strength all along? The crowd is speechless. Who knew Lam Thu was this monstrously strong? How did this guy get so much stronger in just a few short days? Kwang Ho wonders in disbelief. Lam Thu looks down at him. Want to keep going, or has your Uncle Lam shown enough mercy? I'm holding back here, kid. So do you really want to keep pushing this? Gritting his teeth, Kwang Ho unleashes a desperate soul skill, but Lam Thu instantly counters. Sure you can. Yes, he literally throws a classic video game move at him. Kwang Ho coughs up blood once more. Wait, what's happening? Lam Thu is already closing in. Feel the love from Uncle Lam yet? He flicks Kwang Ho's forehead with a smirk. That single flick sends him flying as violent shockwaves reduce everything around them to dust. Kwang Ho is left pinned against the wall, utterly defeated, as Lam Thu smiles and claims his victory. Unbelievable. Against all odds, the victory is theirs, and the entire crowd erupts in cheers. Boss, we actually did it. We are the champions. Congratulations. Lam Thu nods with a proud smile. Yeah, we really are the champions. His master watches quietly. Winning is great, but letting Lam Thu show his hand this early might have been a mistake. Those hidden assassins will be more determined than ever to eliminate him now. For the next 6 months, he can't make a single mistake. Exactly. We need to get Tin Ni enrolled immediately so she can keep a close eye on Lam Thu. The referee announces to the roaring stadium, ladies and gentlemen, this year's spiritual martial competition is officially over. Let's give it up for our grand champions. Shanghai Spiritual Martial. Lam Thu step up to the front, the captain says, but Lam Thu hesitates, telling him it doesn't feel right. The captain smiles. Don't worry about it. I won't be around for the next tournament anyway. Consider this passing the torch. From this moment on, you are officially the team captain. I accept the responsibility, Captain Lam Thu replies. But you need to hold the cup first because this victory belongs to all of us. They lift the trophy high together, their laughter echoing through the stadium. Moved to tears, his long-held dream of many years finally comes true. My good brother, say no more thank you. Lam Thu replies, do not get too excited, Captain. Next, Supreme Yang is invited to present 5 million to the champion team, alongside a platinum spirit pearl for each member. This was a grueling match. You all worked incredibly hard. Thank you, Supreme Shu, for these rare skills inside the pearls. Lam Thu wonders what kind of spirit pearl he will get. Reaching for the prize, receiving only 50,000, makes him ask where his spirit pearl is. Little Thu. As for your spirit pearl, we will personally select the most suitable one and hand it over later. All right, please do not forget that. Wait, there is a brand new award in this year's competition. It is the MVP award. Lam Thu turns around, wondering if he is the one chosen. To save time, I will not beat around the bush. The MVP is Lam Thu. Next, let us welcome our special guest to present the award. The famous weapon research specialist Feng Bang. A top-tier diamond rank research expert, Feng Bang holds the trophy. He has never even heard of this department name in his entire life. But why does his physical build look so incredibly familiar to him? Accepting the prize, hearing that familiar voice, makes him realize this man is the spy. Feng Bang asks him, is something wrong with the award? With a smile, he says it is nothing. He is just too excited about the MVP to say anything. The older man tells him to keep pushing forward. Yes, take care, Brother Feng. Knowing absolutely nothing about this man, Lam Thu decides not to startle the snake, resolving to consult his master. Everyone is cheering, telling Lam Thu that they all agreed. We are having a celebration party after the tournament, let us go. Agreed, he tells them to go ahead, while he speaks with his master. Turning back, he tells his master he has something to say. Little Thu, you have arrived at the perfect time. His master explained he will personally help select the space-type spirit pearl. I forgot to mention that everything is arranged. Is there something else? Master, I have some urgent news regarding the traitor inside our ranks. This is not the place to talk, follow me. Making a secret phone call, someone reports that Lam Thu skipped the party and is instead quietly observing everything. Inside the arbitration office at the Spirit Martial Capital, a few figures gather. His master asks Little Thu, are you absolutely sure Feng Bang is the mole? He reminds them of the stolen spirit martial weapon data from a few months ago. Back then, he personally encountered a mysterious figure. From the physical build to the voice, it perfectly matches Feng Bang. His master admits he always suspected a spy among their weapon research staff. Otherwise, the data would never have been stolen, yet we could never find any solid clues. The suspect is the disciple of Elder Truong, and they were preparing him to take the old man's place. He warns if this man actually takes over the position of Elder Truong, the enemy will gain complete control over all classified spirit martial weapon intelligence. Furthermore, Feng Bang does not know we have already captured the assassin. Without concrete evidence, they cannot act, as it might startle the snake. We must absolutely catch him, but not right now. For the next few days, we will just secretly observe him first to see if we can reel in a bigger fish. Little Thu, do not rush back to Linvo, Shanghai just yet. Making Feng Bang confess will still require your help, you know. Master and Lam Thu step out. Tam Tin calls out greeting Grandpa Tam and the Master. Master suggests that since they are heading to the celebration party anyway, Tin Ni should tag along. Feng Bang makes a call reporting that the target left the Lin Qiu capital, but old Ao Duong Trak is tagging along. Someone is waiting for the perfect chance, telling them not to rush and absolutely avoid exposing themselves. The voice on the other end replies that they know their limits. At Kin Din Tavern to celebrate. One of them asks what took him so long. Even the Dean and Lady Tham are here, so they urge him to grab a seat next to his buddy. Lam Thu asks if Chan Chan saved him a spot. The guy in white confirms she absolutely did. Chan Chan shyly claims it is just a coincidence, but Lam Thu jokingly says he totally gets it. The white-clad youth thinks to himself how cute this proud goddess is. Suddenly, Tam Tin politely asks if she can swap seats with him. She claims she needs to protect her master. Once seated next to him, she looks completely satisfied with this setup. The server arrives with their hot, freshly grilled lamb, the savory aroma filling the entire room. Thum Ting takes a breath of the food, but the master notices something off. Is the lamb poisoned? Lam Thu activates his X-ray vision, revealing that the platter of grilled lamb is indeed laced with lethal poison. He cannot believe these lunatics actually dared to strike here. If that is the case, they will not escape alive. Lam Thu raises his glass, offering a toast to his master to keep up appearances. Leaning in close, he whispers to his master that the lamb is poisoned. The second server is heavily armed, and they cannot be sure if the others are accomplices. He asks his master to step in. Furious, the master scoffs, thinking this pathetic poison is absolutely nothing to a man of his stature. Yet these assassins dared to use poison, something that would easily be fatal to anyone else in the room. Activating his spatial barrier, the master wonders how they dare strike with him present. They must completely look down on him. The suspects begin to tremble, realizing they cannot move at all. They stare helplessly at the serving staff. Lam Thu steps forward, asking if the members of the Black Rose always love hiding weapons on their thighs. The girl plays dumb, asking what he means, and claiming she only carries a concealed weapon for basic self-defense. Lam Thu smiles, offering to treat her to this very special plate of grilled lamb. Her eyes widen. Suddenly, Tam Tin screams out that the assassin is trying to take her own life. Lam Thu tells her to wait, but the girl collapses. Her eyes closed forever. Lam Thu turns to his master, suggesting they let the professionals handle the dead assassin. The master deactivates the barrier, apologizing for the fright. He assures them that help will arrive soon. He tells the remaining server to leave. Trembling in fear, they quickly agree and make their exit. Lam Thu suggests following the fleeing server, confident she will lead them straight to their target. Master agrees, instructing Tam Tin to protect the group while he takes Lam Thu out for a quick trip. The serving girl leaps from the rooftop. She makes a call reporting that Agent 25 has failed the mission. 39 has committed suicide, and to prevent any exposure, she requests immediate withdrawal. Understood, retreat immediately while I report this to Toa Son Dieu. As she flees, she is startled to find Lam Thu already blocking her path, with his master standing right above. Lam Thu asks his master if they should notify Uncle Tu to come and wipe them out completely. The master replies that there is no need, as he can easily handle this place alone. He promises to show Lam Thu the true terrifying power of spatial magic today, leaving the disciple thrilled to witness it. Telling Lam Thu to wait until he clears them out before entering, the master instantly activates teleportation. Lam Thu is absolutely amazed by how flawlessly his master uses his skills. A sudden scream startles his master. Two beauties are taking a bath. Hey, where did this old pervert come from? The master retreats instantly. Master, wait, you took care of them that quickly. You really are lightning fast, old man. Lam Thu awkwardly explains that it was just a total accident. He really did not expect that so many gorgeous women would still be bathing together at 4 in the morning. Just imagining the scene makes him blush. Coughing, his master says they should wait until the girls are dressed before moving. It should be totally safe now, so the master heads right back inside. The old pervert is back! The girls scream to open fire and beat him to death. In an instant, the entire building is frozen and completely controlled by his massive power. Lam Thu is absolutely blown away, praising his master for easily trapping such a massive warehouse inside a spatial barrier. Lam Thu opens up a spatial portal with a smug smile, but his face instantly turns pale. What on earth? There are so many beautiful girls standing before a wax statue. Lam Thu quietly asks his master how they are going to handle all of these captives. Since the Lin Qiu capital has not identified the spy yet, he plans to quietly notify the Azure Dragon Squad stationed there to secretly take over. This raid is easily their most massive victory against the infamous Black Rose organization in recent years. His master tells young Qiu to carefully search the area before the Azure Dragon team arrives. Lam Thu happily accepts the task, confidently promising his master that he will get it done. He secretly grins, knowing a major stronghold like this must be loaded with valuable loot. Lam Thu smiles warmly, telling his master to rest assured. He promises to treat him well in the future, earning a simple nod. Lam Thu glances around and realizes there is definitely another hidden room. He carefully makes his way down, staring into the dark steps below. Shining his flashlight, he detects 0 spiritual fluctuations, meaning it should be completely safe to descend. As he reaches the bottom, he is absolutely stunned to find a massive pile of treasure. He gasps at the gold, high-tier weapons and diamond-grade spirit pearls. This is no ordinary base. He decides not to overthink it and starts packing up the loot. He notices a curtain and pulls it aside, finding nothing, making him wonder if there is a secret door. He senses many weak presences nearby, just as his master asks if he has found anything. Lam Thu replies that he can feel at least 100 people hidden right behind the wall. Telling Lin Qiu to step back, his master unleashes his power, releasing a strange, sweet fragrance. To their horror, the hidden room is filled with young girls locked inside cold cages. His master solemnly notes that these poor girls are likely new recruits being groomed by the Black Rose. Slamming his fist against the wall, Lam Thu is furious that they would target innocent children. These monsters have absolutely lost every shred of their humanity.